I want to welcome everyone to the workshop. It is 11:02, where I'm at. It's 1:02 on the East Coast and wherever you are in the world. So thank you all for joining us. I have people literally from all over the world on this workshop. And I want to give a shout out. My friend Gurley, who is in the Philippines, has some of her students on here today. And I just want to thank all of them because I believe it's 14 hours difference there. So it's pretty late. But we sometimes have people from Australia, New Zealand, all across Europe, all across the US. I personally live in Costa Rica full time, and right now I am in Denver, Colorado, visiting some friends. So I'm not in my normal office space where I would be doing this. But that's what a vision board is all about. And that's what I really want to share with you is each and every one of you can create a life that allows you to work from anywhere in the world, if that's what you desire. Each and every one of you can create a life that you absolutely love, but it requires intention. Sorry, it requires intention. Like we have to set our intention to create that life. And I don't know if you're like me, but I am 57 years old and pretty much the entire first 55 years of my life, I created by default. So that's what we're talking about today. We can create a life by design or we can create a life by default. And it's a choice. And every day we wake up with that same choice. So again, I want to thank you all for being here. Girly, thank you for having your students come to us from the Philippines. Like I said, it's very late at night. And please put in the chat where you're from, because like I said, I oftentimes have people from all over the world, from, Africa, Australia, Europe. So it's really fun just to get to see who everyone is. So, share with us where you're from. And I want to introduce Stephanie as well. Stephanie is one of my success advisors. We have a couple in the Dream Builder program, but Stephanie was one that could make it this afternoon. And she's only here until, for 1 hour. So she'll try and help you out by answering any questions. And then we have Aminath, who will also be helping you out to answer questions. So please feel free to put your questions in the chat. Raise your digital hand if you'd like to come on camera. Typically, I can see your digital hand, and gosh, I think you go to chat to raise your hand. Should have looked this up. It's like I do it brand new every time. But make sure to raise your digital hand. Maybe Aminath, if you could put some instructions on how to do that. And that way I'll see you if you decide that you want to, come on camera and work with me. And there again, if you can be on camera, if you can share, it's going to be so much more fun. And really, you're going to get so much more out of it. So again, thank you for clearing the time today. If you don't have the workbook, we will put a link to the workbook so that you can follow along on your computer screen, or like I use a tablet on your tablet. And if you haven't printed your workbook, try and grab a notebook or some paper that you can write on, because this is a very interactive workshop. And we're really digging into, why do you want these things? What have held you back from reaching some of your goals to this point? And then we're going to step into, how do we make the vision board work for you? So again, the link is in the chat. Make sure to join the free Facebook group that I have. It's Mindset of Pure Potential. And we will also put that link in here several times throughout the workshop for you. It's also digitally on your workbook. So you can click on that, or in one of the emails that you've gotten. This Facebook group I do a lot of coaching on this Facebook group, so you can come in. I'll go live once a week. I do interviews, that type of thing. Just share mindset ideas. You see, we're always growing. Yes, I've been in this work for a while, but I'm still growing. I'm still learning every single day. And so I share those new ideas with you. And then look for notifications from one of your success advisors as we go along through the week. So I would love to ask all of you to be interactive in that Facebook group. And once you get your vision boards done, share them in the Facebook group. Go in, introduce yourself, maybe do a live, even if you're shy, because it'll really get you out of your comfort zone. Share who you are, where you're from, why you decided to do a vision board. And then throughout the week, share your vision board, and we'll have some really great prizes for those of you who get in there and you're interactive. And your success advisor, she'll be able to touch base with you through the Facebook group or through Messenger chat. And then make sure to check your email for the Zoom replay. The replay will be available for 7 days. And remember, I'm just going through the welcome page right now, but remember that this vision board is your roadmap to a life that you would love living. And it is a living, breathing thing. Like, you really have to utilize it every single day. And finally, you want to create a life that wakes you up in the morning, that excites you, that makes you jump out of bed. No one wants a life where they don't want to get out of bed. I gotta go do that today, right? We want to create a life that jazzes us up. So with that, let's go ahead and move on. The next page in your workbook, again, is just talking about the Facebook group, your success advisor. Once you have your success advisor, make sure to write that down, because you will be able to schedule a free call. We do what we call vision calls. And these vision calls are amazing. So we're going to take what we're doing today, and we're going to go super, super deep with you. You see, your dream is as unique as your thumbprint. No one else in the world has that dream. And why do you think this dream is yours? Because there's something out there calling you to live into it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Every one of you, by virtue of being here, deserves to live an amazing, beautiful life. So there again, make sure to schedule that free vision call. We're not a high pressure sales company. Like, literally, if our coaching is something that you would like to do, great. We would love to have you on board. If it's not for you, wonderful. We're here to support you. We're here to give you 199% today. So, and in the Facebook group. So just real quick, the way this workshop is going to flow. So we're going to do a quick self-awareness evaluation. You see, if we don't know where we're at right now, if we don't know where we've been, if we don't take a look at the mistakes we've made or the successes that we've had in the past, how are we ever going to move on to the future and create a life that we absolutely love living? So we're going to do the self-awareness evaluation. We're going to create in phase 2 your ideal life. Like, what does your ideal life look like? So I'm a super casual person. I wanted to create a life where I could be in nature as much as possible. I wanted to create a life where I came from 27 years in real estate, wearing suits in Florida, and it's hot. It's really, really hot, right? Dressing up, doing my hair, having tons of makeup on, all the stuff that a real estate agent in Florida had to do. But my soul was calling me to be in nature, to be closer to nature. And now I live in Costa Rica. I get to walk in nature every day. I'm surrounded by toucans and monkeys and all waterfalls and all the fun things that we have in Costa Rica. But, that's the life that I intentionally set out to create. And all of us have a different dream. Stephanie lives in LA. She was a makeup and a hair artist for the stars, right? And so she loves that stuff. So maybe living out with cows and horses isn't necessarily her thing. And each of us have that unique dream in us. So we're going to create that ideal life. And I want you to really dream big. If it's just a small goal that you have, you're not dreaming big enough. For instance, if you say, well, I want to have a brand new car. Well, have you had a brand new car in the past? Is it similar to the car that you're currently driving? Like, create a dream that's really big and outside of your comfort zone, because it's going to call you toward it, and it'll draw your vision will be drawn to you like a magnet. Phase 3, we're going to go into what I call the gap. The gap is where we are today and where we see our dream, right? Whether that's, house at the ocean or in the mountains or wherever that might be. Maybe it's growing your business to the next level. Maybe it's finding that relationship. Whatever that might be, we're going to grow ourselves into that. But right now, we're here. And I compare it to, for anyone who's familiar with the Grand Canyon in the US, you're on one, you're on what is considered the south end of the Grand Canyon, which is where most people go. Those are most of the pictures you see, but your dream is over on the north end. And you've got this huge expanse of space. And because I'm from Florida, I am going to use the term alligators. That space is filled with alligators. Those alligators are fear, doubt, indecision, anger, resentment, hurt, all those things that hold us back from getting to our dreams. So we have to evaluate, what is the gap between us and our vision board and our vision? We're going to do a quick little exercise called 7 Levels Deep, where we're going to talk about, why do you really want this thing? Like, why do you want to grow that $1 million business? Why do you want to live by the ocean? Why, what is it? We did a vision board workshop where I went deep with one of the participants, and I am going to ask someone to volunteer for this. We went really deep, and she wanted a house. She's from Florida. She wanted a house in New York. And what it ended up being is, after we got 7 levels deep, it wasn't the house. It was the closeness that she felt with her husband when she was in New York, and they could take walks out in nature and they could really enjoy the space there. It was the conversations that they had together when they were in New York, when they were walking through the forest and all the beautiful, countryside areas that she had envisioned for her dream house. So it's really important that we have a why that really makes us cry. And it did. It made her cry right here on camera on the workshop. And then the last phase of this workshop is really creating our vision board. And how do we create that vision board that works for us and that attracts the life that we love to us? You see, we don't want to go down the road chasing our dream, right? If you think about it, like, I have this really ornery cat in Costa Rica. If I were to chase that little guy, he's going to run. Toddlers, what do? When you're chasing a toddler, they run. Or a dog, they run, right? So we don't want to chase our dream, because when we're chasing our dream, it's just going away from us, right? We want to attract our dream to us. There again, we want to become a magnet for our dream. So does anyone have any questions or anything you'd like to comment on before we get into the actual vision board? No? All right.
No questions, but thank you so much for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for saying that. All right, so let's go ahead and, as a group, let's move on to page 1 of the workbook, Shaping Your Destiny. And this is what we call the Wheel of Life. Tony Robbins says that too many people are caught up with making a living and not designing their life. Now, isn't that true? I know I literally went straight from going to university into a job, into the next level, into the next position, right? And I was so caught up in that, I never really bothered to design the life that I would love. Yes, I loved my career, and that was just one aspect of who I am. There again, I am a nature person. I moved to the ocean and from Ohio. For those of you who are in other countries, Ohio is very far from the ocean, but I had always dreamed of living at the ocean. So I moved to the ocean and created a new life there, right? And that's what we get to do. We get to create that life that we would love. So what we're going to do with this Wheel of Life is evaluate, where are we? So you'll see that it's a circle. And if you don't have it printed out, you could just rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And I want you to first look at your health and well-being. Are you a 0 or are you a 10? Or where are you on that scale? So this isn't just your physical health. This is your emotional health. This is your mental health. Like, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Are you excited? Are you upset? Are you hurt? Are you depressed? How's your body? Do you wake up with no pain? Do you wake up excited to take on the day, excited to create your dreams? Do you wake up maybe lethargic and it's hard to get out of bed? Or do you wake up and you're like, yeah, this is going to be an amazing day? So there again, 0 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. The next is your career and your passion. So I am very lucky in that my career is my passion. I love helping people create transformation in their lives. That lights me up because when I found this work, it changed my life forever. And I love bringing that to my clients and my students. But, maybe you don't have a career, maybe you don't want a career, maybe you would like to create an organization that helps the homeless. Maybe you would like to create an organization that, puts children in school or whatever it might be, right? And are you living that? And if it's both, then you can mark both on your scale of 1 to 10. Then learning and growth. So Bob Proctor, who is one of my mentors, he was really big. He was in The Secret back in the 90s. He also had been in this work from the early 1960s until he passed away just this past spring at the age of 86. Bob Proctor said, if we're not learning and growing, we're dying. And I want you to think about it. What happens to a tree that stops growing? What happens to a plant that stops growing? They start dying. And we as humans, we always have to be learning and growing. So that could be in your career, that could be in work like this. It could be in many different areas. Maybe it's in your passion area. But do you have learning and growth? And where are you on that? Finances and money. So where are you with your finances and money? Do you feel like you've done a good job with it? Do you feel like you're pretty comfortable in life, but there could be more? Where is that for you? Have you started saving up for later on in life? Are you able to go to the store and buy what you want without guilt? Like literally, if you wanted to go, let's say, buy a new wardrobe, could you do that and not feel guilt? If you wanted to go on a vacation, could you do that and not feel guilt? Like, can you, if you have friends in other countries as I do, can you jump on a plane and go visit? Can you treat your kids to the trips that you'd like to take them on, or your parents or your friends? And then let's move on to love and relationships. So love and relationships is all of it. It's not just, do you have a partner? Do you want a partner? Is that partner the perfect partner? All that stuff. It's your children, it's your extended family, it may be your parents, it's your friends, your coworkers, or your clients. Do you have really good relationships with all of the people in your life? Because, think about it. Many of you might be going to a job or a career where you're spending 8 or 9 hours a day there. Is it a toxic environment or is it a growth environment? And then maybe you have friends. I went through a dark period of my life when I lost my parents, and the real estate market in Florida was not doing well. This was about 10 years ago. And I was in what I call the dark period of my life. And my friends would come over, and what did we do? We talked about all the things that were wrong, right? What are the conversations like that you have going on in your life right now? And then spirituality, this is not a religious program at all, and you don't have to believe in a higher power if you choose not to. But the bottom line is we are all bigger than our bodies. There is more to us than our bodies. And I want you to think about this. Like, if I ask you to think about what a brain looks like, you can get a picture of what a physical brain looks like. We've all seen them in the books or in a jar or whatever, plastic ones. But if I ask you to think about what your mind looks like, you really can't bring an image of the mind into your mind because we can't see the mind. The mind creates these thoughts. These thoughts are energy. The energy is connected to all energy. So there is something that is spiritual in your world, whether you recognize it or not. And where are you with that? Or is it something that you honor in yourself? So what I'd like you to do after you have all of these dots on your wheel is connect the dots. And then I would love for one of you to raise your hand and come on camera and share and tell me what you see on your wheel of life. So would anyone like to share? Just raise your digital hand there again, because I can't see you unless you raise your hand. Oh, I got a quiet group today. Okay, we've got Tammy. I'm going to ask you to unmute. All right, Tammy, go ahead.
Well, I have to say I'm really excited about looking at my wheel of life this go round. I haven't done it in years. I've helped clients do it, but I myself haven't done it. And it looks almost round. It's a little lumpy. In the past, it was like a star. So it's really good to see. And it's also good that I'm in a place that I can really acknowledge that I used to be much harder on myself, and I would range it much lower. And so it's like, this looks pretty good. I don't know if it would be a wheel to get anywhere, because one side's a little without some jarring, but it's more round, and so it's really great.
And so just so everyone knows, Tammy is a client that I've been working with in the Dream Builder program. And so it really means a lot to hear that her wheel is getting more round, because I always say, like, if that were the front wheel of your bicycle, how far would you go? Right?
Yeah.
And the fact that it's more, that it's better, like you said, it's not a star. That's a big deal. So thank you so much for sharing that, Tammy.
You're welcome.
And I also have Margaret. All right. Let me unmute you here.
There, I'm unmuted. Hi. Oh my goodness. I don't like being on camera.
You know what? Then congratulations for getting out of your comfort zone and doing this. So thank you.
And I have to say that I am a client of Tammy's. And yes, and I have grown leaps and bounds because of her. So see, kind of ripple effect, right?
Exactly. Tammy, just for those of you who don't know, she is an amazing coach, and she does hypnotherapy and really helps you remove some of those blocks, doesn't she, Margaret?
Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And so how is your wheel looking today?
Well, you know what? I do have some high numbers. Spirituality is very high, and relationships are high. I'm wanting to work on the finances and the career portion.
Nice. Okay.
And it's the health and wellness one. I'm climbing up that ladder.
Yay.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of work. Part of it's been with Tammy, but I've done a lot of work on that, and that just really affects all the other things too. Whether you have energy to put into making other changes, and your perspective and all of that. So that's what I have to share.
Well, thank you so much. And I want to thank you for sharing that about the perspective and your health and well-being. So I talk to my clients about this all the time because we really work in the program that I coach 4 of these areas. But if you don't have health, how can
Mhm.
you possibly go for your finances? If you're waking up depressed, how can you ever really be excited about your dream, right?
Yes.
So I always say get one plate spinning at a time. Like, which one is that for you? And we're going to talk about that as we go on a little bit more in the workbook. But yeah, like you want to wake up and you want to feel good in the morning.
Mhm.
Everyone deserves to feel good, right? You want to
Right.
have that excitement, that joy, but you also want the energy. Because
Right.
if you don't have the energy, you've got a dream that's way up here, but you're low energy because you've been eating the wrong foods and maybe not exercising and, sitting at the desk too much. You know, it's kind of like just walking through really deep mud trying to get to your dream.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you so much for sharing.
You're
And
welcome.
congratulations for coming on camera. Like
Oh,
I think that is amazing. Anytime we can get out of our comfort zone. So thank you for being an example for everyone on here.
oh, well, thank you for putting it in such a lovely perspective.
You're welcome. So we also have is it Venice? Okay.
Hi,
Hello, how are you? Where are
um,
you coming in from?
I'm from the Philippines.
Oh, yeah.
I'm one of
Great.
Coach Girly's students.
Nice. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, and I'm grateful for being here and learning from you.
Well, thank you.
So, as for my circle, oh,
Oh, it's looking pretty good. It's not too bad. It's a little lopsided on one side.
it is because there's the seven. Because that's the seven will be the learning and growth. Because I'm into self-development, and
Mm,
I read a lot of books about
mhm.
leadership and self-mastery. But then all of the other ones are five or six
And
in the
that's
five
okay
or six.
because I always say this is like, now I don't know how it works in other countries, but in the US, we have what we call our taxes. And like, in fact, today is April 15th. Our Internal Revenue Service wants us all to have our taxes done by today, right? But so those ones that are a 5 or a 6, that's just what you did up until now. That's not what you're capable of. So you're capable of so much more than what you did up until now, right?
Mhm.
And you're doing the right thing by reading the books, listening to the podcasts, right? Diving into personal development. And that's what this is. This is diving into that personal development so that you can bring that up to a 7 or an 8 or a 9. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you. And I want all of you to really take that in. Like when you're looking at this wheel, you're really looking at everything you did up until this point in your life, and you're capable of so much more. So thank you everyone for sharing. And like
Thank
I
you.
said, if your wheel looks really lopsided, which I can tell you many times, a lot of people's wheels are lopsided, or like I had a gal just recently, she's like, 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. But it's just it's a time in her life. She was just, in a bad breakup, had to, leave her home and all these things, starting a new job. And so like she was just in a period of life, in a life that's this long, it's just really a little space like this big. And so we get to remember that. And this is where the intention comes in. So again, thank you everyone for sharing. Thank you for getting brave and coming on camera. Now we're going to move on to page 2, the self-awareness evaluation. And you'll see I tried to put little, affirmations at the top for you to really think about. And, like when you're making your vision board, you're going to want to also create affirmations, but you get to create your life by design. So, where are you today in the 6 key areas of life? And you don't want to use a number here. When you jot this down, I really want you to look at, well, um, my self development is a 7, and I feel really good about that. But right now, my finances are about a 5, and I really want to work on that. And we're doing this so that we can pinpoint those areas where we want to focus. So go ahead and take a minute and jot down where you are in those 6 key areas. While you're doing that, excuse me, I'm just going to check the chat real quick. All right. And feel free to put comments in the chat as we go along as well. Because other people, we talk about this in the coaching program all the time, other people will benefit from your shares. Now, number 2, as you're finishing up number 1, number 2, what is the one area that I would like to focus on that would make the biggest difference in my life right now? And so this is what Margaret and I were just talking about. If you don't have your health, right? So I do have some clients who have had to focus on their health before anything else. I have other clients who have had to heal from a broken heart. So they had to focus on that. That's really kind of in that realm of health as well. Or clients who really want to focus on their career, maybe creating a new career or moving to the next level in their current career. So what is that one area that would make the biggest difference across the board for all the other areas? And yes, you can have 2 areas. Definitely. Thank you for asking that. And then number 3, what experiences, goals, or people brought me the most joy last year? And what you really want to think about with this is what are those things that you did in the past year that made you the happiest? Like, I love to travel. And there again, I traveled to Costa Rica just a little over a year ago on a vacation. I was on a 3-month vacation. It was a working vacation, but nonetheless, 3 months in Costa Rica. I manifested this house within 3 weeks of being in Costa Rica. But now I'm in Colorado, and I just went snowboarding with my daughters a couple days ago. That brings me joy. I had a big retreat. It was a small retreat, actually. I had 8 women, maybe 9 women from different countries come to Costa Rica, and we had a retreat for 7 days. That brought me joy. Was it being with your friends? Was it being with your family or your kids? What were the activities? We're really pinpointing, who do we want to spend our time with? What do we want more of? I did this exercise. I did a vision board workshop for my daughters while I'm here in Colorado. They live here. And one of the things that both of my daughters realized is that they want to spend more time with friends. They work a lot, and they realized they really weren't here. They moved here because they too love nature, but they really weren't spending as much time in nature with their friends as they would like to. And then number 4, if I could turn back time, what would I have done differently? Now, this could be in the past year. This could be in your, last 5 years or 10 years. What would you have done? And I want you to think about things like, for instance, maybe you stayed at a career or in a job longer than what you would have, if you could turn back time. Maybe you stayed in a relationship that was toxic. Maybe you continued to keep going into the same relationships, just with different people that were toxic. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you would have went on the 3-month vacation. Maybe you would have bought the house. Maybe you would have just bought that pair of shoes that you fell in love with when you went into the store, right? Would anyone like to share maybe some ideas that are coming to you as we're going through these questions, or maybe what you would have done differently? Again, if you raise your digital hand, I'll be able to see you. No takers on this one? Oh, go ahead, Timothy. Here you go. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to unmute here. I can't seem to. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, I didn't know that I was muted. So again, please forgive me. This is kind of on the fly. I just got invited to this yesterday. I didn't know about the workbook, so I'm just kind of writing as I'm going. But to say what would I have done differently, I would definitely say I would have been myself more, trusted myself more, and not really cared so much about what people think. You know what I mean? Like, I always do care. I am a deep caring person, loving person, so that'll always be there. But I really am starting to understand the whole idea of you can't control how people treat you, but you can control how you respond.
100%. And I love that you just shared that. He would have been more authentic to himself, right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. That's the best way to.
And how many times are we being somebody because that's what's expected of us? Like our family sees us like this, or our friends see us like this, rather than really, just being honest, being upfront with who we are in the world. I was an introvert, still am. I think once you're an introvert, you're just always an introvert, right? And so, I was an introvert and I hid for the first 50 plus years of my life. I hid behind anything I could hide behind. I was never authentic. I was always quiet. I would never talk, right? Of course, when I had people in my car showing them property, I would talk. But now I really share who I am at the deepest level, because who I am at the deepest level, who you are at the deepest level, that is the authentic, true you. That is your soul calling you forward. And why do we hide from that, right? So yeah, thank you so much. Where are you coming in from, Timothy?
Chicago.
Oh, well,
Chicago. Thank you. And I just wanted to add on to that for what you were just saying. Like what I'm most recently learned is once you become more comfortable being your authentic self, and because I've been an introvert as well, and I haven't been very talkative, and I've learned that when I push myself to talk, even though it can be hard at first and there can be some anxiety and some hyperventilating, but if you get it out, people can surprise you, and you can find out that how you thought they thought or how you thought they felt wasn't right. And really, it's like what you thought about them is what you thought how they saw you is how they thought you saw them. And it just, once you talk and you communicate, it just kind of opens up a whole new world for you.
I'm so glad you brought that up too, because I coach on that a lot. Like, we're always projecting what we think other people are thinking onto them, and they're projecting what we think they're thinking. And in truth, we have no idea. We're not in their head. We're not looking at life through the same lenses or the same glasses that they are, because they have completely different experiences. So we spend a lot of our life projecting onto others and them projecting onto us, and none of it's real. But when we are living in our authentic self, we actually open up space in our brain and our mind to be able to create, because we're not wasting time. Well, this person probably thinks this and this person thinks that, and I bet they think I'm, too old or too young or too this or too that. Nobody really is thinking any of that, right? They're just doing them and we're just doing us. So thank you. Yes, we can create more when we're in a space of just being ourselves.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing.
No problem.
So we'll go ahead and move on to page 3. And self-awareness is essential for living a life filled with passion, excitement, and meaning. And it's just what Timothy was just saying. When we become aware of, oh, I was making, I was thinking that this person was thinking this about me, and that like that's self-awareness, becoming aware of our thoughts, becoming aware of our emotions, becoming aware of the things that we do out in the world. I'm an introvert. There are 61 of you on this call right now. Like I'm still self-aware that I'm an introvert. After I'm done with this call, I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to have a hot cup of tea. I'm going to relax because, it's kind of out of my comfort zone to have 60 people. I've talked in front of 200 people before. Like what I would have thought 10 years ago was a weakness is actually my strength. And so that's where self-awareness comes in. So question number 5, who do I look up to and why? I looked up to a woman who I would see speaking in front of, not kidding, 40,000 people at a time. And then I started looking up to Bob Proctor, who had students all over the world. Now, the program that I currently am coaching for is called the Dream Builder program. My coach and mentor, Mary Morrissey, same thing. She has students all over the world. So I didn't know why I looked up to them. I just knew that when they had a voice and they were in front of changing lives. And that was what I had a desire to do, to change lives. And so it may be somebody that you're like going, I don't know why I look up to that person, but I do. It could be a mentor, it could be a parent, it could be a sibling. I was a young mother and I was watching my sister go off to college. I wasn't in college because I, was pregnant right out of high school. And I'm watching her and looking up to her at the time. And I realized I also wanted to go to college. I wanted to get out of this little town that I lived in. And I wanted to move to the ocean, right? And so as I'm watching her, all of a sudden something that had been impossible because I had a 2-year-old at home became possible. Then number 6, determine where we are today or where you are today. And what I mean by that question is, what is your level of satisfaction with the life that you're currently living? Do you feel satisfied in your life? Or do you feel like that gap, like I said, you're on one end of the Grand Canyon and then the other end of the Grand Canyon looks like it's 100 miles away? What are your longings and discontents? Like, are you like, well, I'm really discontented with my bank account and I'm not happy with my health and I'm not happy, or, like, what are those discontents? What are your longings? Because your longings are what you're dreaming of. And is there an area in your life where you're really quite uncomfortable? Whether it's financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you're just really uncomfortable. So we had this in my coaching program, we have a daily phone call. It's not required, but people can get on. It's our time where we study and then we share our breakthroughs, our wins, our gratitudes. And one of the conversations that came up this morning was when we're uncomfortable in our life, that's because the universe, I'm going to use the word the universe rather than God or spirit or whatever it might be, but for you, because we all have our own beliefs, right? But the universe will make us extremely uncomfortable for us to get up and move. You see, without that discomfort, we might not make that move. And so, like, where are those places where you can see in your life that you're really uncomfortable and it's time to make a change? And then number 7, where am I judging myself? So this is really about our self-talk. So there again, I just shared with you that I'm 57 years old. I started life coaching when I was 56. I'm looking at my beautiful 40-something-year-old coach with the smooth skin and the red lipstick and the hair done perfectly. And I'm like, I'm never going to be that, right? I'm too old to start a new career. I had all the negatives. I don't want to be a life coach. I didn't realize it was my calling. Um, came to me in a meditation. We talk about following our intuition in this program. And so when it came to me, I realized this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be selling real estate anymore. And I was burnt out in real estate. I'd been burnt out in real estate for 10 years. Could you imagine every day walking on hot nails in a career or a job that you don't love just because it's something that you know, right? So I was extremely uncomfortable for many years until I realized that the universe was calling me to do something bigger. And I have impacted probably somewhere around 50 lives, and actually probably closer to 60 lives in huge transformation in less than a year. So where can you make a difference in your life? Where is that uncomfortableness and where are you judging yourself? That you're too old to start the business or you're too young to start the business. Maybe you don't have the money to start the business. Maybe you don't have the money to go on the vacation. Maybe it is, oh, I've tried it before and I've always failed, or I don't have the degree, or I don't have the certification, or, I have ADD or whatever it is, right? I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough is a common human theme. So, like, who am I to do this? Again, a common human theme. Turn that around. Who are you not to do it? And then number 8, what makes me happy? So really, what makes you happy? I know when I'm with my daughters, I'm happy. I know that when I'm living my life, like doing these workshops, I love doing these workshops. I love coaching. Like, what makes you happy? I'm trying to think of something here. Do you love walking in nature? Do you love being by the beach? Do you love personal development? Venice came on and she likes personal development. So that's a number 7, right? Well, guess what? I get to do this every day for a living. If you love personal development, maybe there's something like this in your future. Maybe where you're helping other people to go through the transformation that you get to experience. And then on the next page, page 9, no, I'm sorry, page 4, I live a life of abundance. So what limiting beliefs do I have about myself, or where do I judge myself? And again, that's that too old, too young. I need more training. I need a degree. Everyone in my family has this illness. Maybe it's depression. Maybe everyone in your family, depression runs in my family. Maybe I'm in a lot of pain and I'm not going to be any good to anyone because, I can't show up regularly or whatever it might be. And I can tell you, we can, with our mindset, move the needle, even when we're in pain. We can move the needle toward our dreams, even when we don't believe that we can. And I want you to look at question 7, which is similar, where am I judging myself? And what limiting beliefs do I have about myself? And so 7 and 9, and on number 10, what new beliefs can I choose? So what I did was I started YouTubing coaches who are my age and older. I started looking for evidence of people my age who are making it happen, right? So what new belief was I able to choose? Well, yeah, I was 56 and I have probably a good 30 years left in me, right? That's a long time. You know what I accomplished in the first 30 years of my life? And I have like 100 times the knowledge that I had then. So if I could accomplish all that in the first 30 years, I mean, like, holy cow, what's the next 30 years going to be like, right? So, or maybe it's I don't have a degree. Do you really need the degree? Or if you do need the degree, you know, if you're going into engineering, obviously you have to have a degree for that, or you're going to become a doctor or whatever it might be. What new belief could you have? We see people who are my age and older going back to school. You know, if it's a certification that you need, you know, where can you get it? This is going to motivate you to choose a new belief and to believe that you can reach that thing that you're reaching for. You can actually make it happen. So number 11, and remember, we're still in this self-evaluation part. Okay, we're going to move on to more fun stuff here in a minute. But number 11, do I allow other people or circumstances like time, money, age to influence my decisions? And so we talk about this a lot in this work is, you know, if you're like, well, I really want to go vacation in France, but I can't, I don't have the money, I can't get the time off work, then you're allowing that to influence your decision. But if you made a decision to go to France, you will find a way to get the time off work. You will find a way to make the extra money to get there. So we're just turning this around. How about, like, are your parents talking you out of something? Is your spouse or your partner or your coworkers or your friends? Oh, you can't do that. You know, you don't have enough education for that. You know, who are you to do that? And we do have people in our lives who are sometimes negative when we're going for something big. You know, they love us and they're just worried for us. They don't want to see us get hurt. They don't want to see us fall down. They don't want to see us make mistakes. So, how about money? Money holds so many people back in making a decision. Like, I have a gal in my program who right now is traveling all through Florida. But in many ways, she would stop herself from going because of money. She had the money, she just didn't want to spend it. But see, she was stopping the flow, she was stopping the circulation rather than just saying, you know what, I'm going to go and I know the money will come. And you know what happened? She's an artist. And just a couple of days ago, she's on the beach painting beautiful, beautiful paintings. In fact, you know, if you're on another Zoom with me in the future, you'll see one in my background at my home in Costa Rica. But she was painting this amazing picture on the beach, and a young couple came by and bought it on the spot. Like, this is what happens when we step into our dream. You see, the law of attraction, it's just that. It's the law of attraction. When we're in the vibration of our dream, those things, those people, those circumstances, those what feels like a coincidence will all line up and it will all come to us exactly when we need it. So when she lived into her dream, you know, she made not only enough money to pay for the vacation, but to also put down a down payment on her new place in Florida. So, oh yes, Stephanie, let me unmute you.
Hi, thank you for taking my hand. I didn't mean to put that face, but I was going to mention that story. I love it, with her being on the beach and doing this painting, and she had just finished the painting, and she sold it. I love the number. She said she sold it for $2,100 on the spot at the beach. Like, that was a lot of money for someone to come by and say, "Okay, I got 2,000. I'm going to give it to you." It's like, wow, and how that just happens. Like, things like that just happen.
And it's common in our program, isn't it, Stephanie?
It's so common, so common. Just when I was like going to Costa Rica, like right before then it came, the money came. It's like that's exactly the way it happens. I think once you make the decision to like, this is for me, I'm going to jump. It's like, and sometimes we don't know where it's going to come from, or we don't have the money. If you just make the decision, it's for me. For some reason, it's like, you know, it's like, okay, I'm going to take care of you. If this is what you want, this is for you. And so I think just stepping into this is, you know, just loving yourself and trusting yourself that this is for you. That's so great. I just wanted to mention that because there's like, that's a big, yes, someone bought it, but it was like for a lot of money, you know? So, I mean, you know, it could be a little money to some other people, but she wasn't even expecting it. So it was so wonderful.
Exactly. And she was doing what she loved, right? And so for those of you who may not have been on from the very beginning, Stephanie is one of our success advisors. And so when you schedule your free vision call, and it is a free call, it takes about 45 minutes. Stephanie is one of the success advisors that you might have the pleasure of having a call with. And what she's talking about was she wanted to come to the retreat. There were some financial things going on in her life that it was looking very impossible. And she made the decision. And literally 1 week before the retreat, much more than what she needed for the retreat came into her life. She bought a ticket and she was at the retreat in Costa Rica with all of her friends, literally a week later. And then a week later, we were horseback riding on the beach. So together. So yes, thank you, Stephanie, for sharing that. And she does have to leave here in just a little bit. So I'm so glad that you came on and said hello to everyone. And yeah, definitely reach out to her if she is your advisor. So thank you. The last question under the self-awareness evaluation is, do I experience, lost my place here. Do I experience fear, doubt, anger, resentment, anxiety, or other negative emotions that keep me feeling stuck? So I want you to think about this. And again, this was a conversation that just came up this morning. One of my clients was getting triggered by something that was happening in her life. You know, when we say the word triggered, it's like somebody says something and instantly you feel yourself angry or sad, or you feel like you're, you know, like a victim, you want to go cry, whatever it is, right? When we feel those emotions, that is an area in us that has yet to be healed. And so it was an amazing conversation around this whole subject this morning. So I'm so glad I get to talk about it today. But we're experiencing fear. Like oftentimes we confuse fear for excitement. So I didn't love speaking in front of people. I experienced a lot of fear, but I kept forcing myself to get into situations where I would have to speak in front of people. And then I realized it wasn't really fear, it was excitement. Are you experiencing fear going to the next level in your career, or maybe going to start school again? Or are you feeling doubt, like, who am I to do that thing? Do you feel anger toward anyone? Like, do you have unfinished work when it comes to forgiveness? One of the things we talk about a lot, and we spend 2 full weeks, it's a 12-week boot camp that I coach, is where we have anger, resentment, jealousy, whatever it might be, we have to do the forgiveness work in ourselves to allow ourselves to free ourselves from the prison that those emotions are putting us in. You know, do you experience anxiety? You know, I have a couple people who I know, my daughter's friends, who talk about experiencing anxiety. You know, this is something that we have complete control over. We may not feel like it, but when we really get down to the root of what is causing the anxiety, it's all made up in our heads, right? So all of these emotions, we get to look at and say, okay, I have this emotion, and this is an area that I want to work on so that I can get to my dream. so that I can clear the path. Or like I said in, earlier, slay those alligators. Anybody, as far as the entire self-awareness evaluation section of this, that was our last question in that. Anybody have anything that you'd like to share? Any comments? Any eye-opening moments for you? All right. I knew we were going to have a taker. Oh, sorry, Venison. Oh, there you go.
Hi again. So I thought I've resolved this with myself, but then when you mentioned this question, I realized that um in terms of me believing that I can afford the the kind of master's education that I want to enroll at, I'm having doubts that I can fund it on my own, since it's a bit more expensive than the usual master's degree that I can take here in the Philippines. Because the master's that I want is in Europe, and it's in euros, and it's about in pesos about more than 1 million pesos. So I'm having doubts that I can fund it in the time that I want to enroll at, for example, maybe January of next year. And I'm having doubts that I can fund it. Also, I thought I've moved on from this person who owes me a lot of money. I thought I've forgiven her, but just now that you mentioned it, I'm still having that hang-ups that she should return the money she owed me, and just it's just a moment of realization. So thank you.
You're welcome. And so this is so perfect. So you you have this fear that you can't come up with the money to fund the education that you want because it'll be in Europe, and obviously that's going to require a move. So that requires money as well. So now we get to switch the perspective on it. So we get to turn that from a fear into, how can I? So the quality of our life is determined by the quality of our questions that we ask. And instead of saying, how can I get to Europe and do this education? I don't have enough money, and this person owes me money, and if she would just pay me back, that would help so much. And then there's some forgiveness work that needs to be done there, right? Forgiving her for not paying you the money that she owes you. So, and maybe even forgiving yourself for lending her the money or for doing the work that she didn't pay you for, or whatever that might be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we get to turn that victim type of thought process into, with the right question, how can I? And so the energy, okay, like let's look at the energy of, how can I go to Europe and take this education? I really want this master's degree, but how can I do that? I don't have the money. Into, how can I make the money and continue making money while I'm living in Europe, while I'm getting my master's degree? Do you feel the energetic difference? Mm-hmm.
Gave me chills, actually.
That means the angels are talking to you when you get chills, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, and there's a truth in that, right? So it's very easy. And one of my clients, and she's been, she's actually in the advanced program this morning, was just really stuck in that same place. But she had a community of people this morning, and not just this morning, like different conversations over the last few days, where we have lifted her up and brought her out of that and reminded her of who she is. She's not her story. She's not a victim. She's not stuck. You know, it's usually our subconscious mind trying to keep us where we're comfortable. Did you grow up in the Philippines?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so it's all you know, right? Like
Yeah.
this has been your life, and it's scary. Moving to Europe is a big deal. Moving to Costa Rica was a big deal, guys, right? It really is. And so, like, you're stepping into your new life. And when you're stepping into your new life, your subconscious mind, what we call your paradigm, is always going to try and keep you in your old life. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you where you know, right? So, yeah, when we switch out a question, switch that question around. How can I do this? How can I make money while I'm there? How can I make money, make friends, and have fun and have literally the best 2 years of my life while I'm there? And then what's the next adventure after that? There's a whole different energy. And that's when we're pulling our dream to us. It's all in the vibration. You see, everything is energy. This cup is condensed solid energy. As I was talking, our body is condensed energy, but our mind is a higher wave of energy, right? So we want to be in that energy of our dreams. And now we know things that they didn't know when Bob Proctor got into this work back in the 1960s. This is what they call the science of quantum physics. And it's proven. I studied quantum physics. We're creating new neural pathways in our minds, right? As we do this work, the reason you're into personal development is because the more you read these books, the more you're on these workshops, the more you're around like-minded people who have these, how can I make it happen attitude, the more you're creating new neural pathways in your brain. And I always compare it to like being on the Autobahn in Germany, right? You're on the Autobahn and you're going 110 miles an hour, right? And every day you go to the same place, the same emotional place, the same job every day, 110 miles an hour. And one day you slow down and you're doing about 55. And you're like, oh, there's an enchanted forest over there. I'm going to take that new road. Oh, there's an enchanted forest over there. And pretty soon you're just off exploring all these beautiful enchanted forests. And you're going to new emotional destinations. And you're creating that new pathway in your brain. So thank you. I could talk about quantum physics all day long. It's my thing. So,
Thank you, Mindy. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. I'm glad you had a breakthrough with that. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our ideal lives, which is on page 5. And the main question at the top, the main question that we all ask in this program that I coach is, what would I love? And so this could be an affirmation. What would I love? Would I love to be angry at this woman who owes me money, or would I just love to forgive her and move on and maybe have a conversation with her about this, right? But from a place of forgiveness, not a place of expectation. What would I love? I would love to go to university in England and get this master's degree. I would love to have the best 2 years of my life while I'm there. But we're going to ask this from the standpoint, if time and money were not an issue. So if you had all the time and money freedom that you could imagine, where would you live? So I want you to just, I'm going to do a real quick, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I think I want to walk all of you through this because I think all of you are really going to enjoy this. And this is part of what we do this is actually what we do on our vision call, but I'm just going to do it for a couple of minutes. But I would love for all of you to close your eyes and get comfortable for just a second. And I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now another deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Now you're probably feeling a little more relaxed right now. One last deep breath in through your nose. And a real big sigh, out through your mouth, let it go. If time and money were not an issue, where would you live? Would you live by the beach? Would you live in the city? Who would you be hanging out with? Would you be hanging out with your friends, your family? Imagine yourself wherever that might be. Is it in the mountains? Do you have a little house in the forest somewhere? Or again, do you see yourself living on the beach or close to the beach where you can get there every day and put your toes in the water? Imagine who you're with while you're there. What are those conversations like? Are you laughing? Are you smiling? Are you happy? Do you wake up excited every day? And now I want you to move on. Where would you vacation to? You know, if you're not from the United States, would you come and explore the Grand Canyon? Would you go snowboarding down a mountain in Argentina or Japan or the Swiss Alps? You know, do you see yourself boating around the Greek Isles or exploring the ancient streets of Rome and London and some of these amazing places in the world? What would truly loving yourself look like? If you woke up and you truly loved yourself every single day, would you be eating fresh organic foods? Would you exercise and move your body every day? Would you focus on personal development? Would you buy yourself that beautiful outfit? And what would you do for work? What would that look like? Who are your coworkers? What are you doing every day? Are you dressing up and going to a nice high-end office in the city? Or are you working from home? You know, have you created a life where you can travel and take your computer anywhere in the world? How many hours are you working? Are you working 3 days a week and playing the rest of the week? Who are your clients? Are they kind? Are they passionate? Are they intelligent? What are those conversations like? Now take a deep breath in and just hold it for a second. Now let it out. And I want you to look at this page and now answer these questions from a space of, if I truly love myself, where would I be living? Where would I be vacationing? For how long? What am I doing for work or for my passion? And who am I spending my time with? You know, are you going on a 2-week vacation or are you going on a 2-month vacation? And where is that? There's so many beautiful places in the world. Are you visiting the pyramids in Egypt or the Great Wall in China? Or I hiked the Inca Trail with my daughters in Peru a few years ago. Are you doing something like that? Or the El Camino through Spain and France? Are you in Bali or India or the Philippines or Australia? And how many homes do you have? Do you have 1, 2, 3 homes? You know, when I went to Costa Rica on my vacation, I had no intention of buying a home. I have a home in Florida, but this home presented itself because I was in the vibration of the home. You see, we don't need to know how. The how is not our business. We just need to know what we want. And then if you move over to the next page, page 6, if time and money were not an issue, what would you own? Like, we have several gentlemen on here. Like, I know guys like their cars and some women like their cars. I'm not a big car person. Would you have a Ferrari or whatever the in car is? Would you, there again, have the house on the beach? Would you have the most killing wardrobe ever? Like, do you have the shoes? Like me, I love yoga clothes. I have yoga clothes, right? Like, what would you own? Do you have a boat? I have one of my clients, her vision is to own a $3 million yacht. And you know what? She's this close to getting it. Like, literally, she's this close to getting it because she takes it off the shelf every day and she keeps her dream of owning this yacht in front of her every single day. She's got multiple monitors from her workstation, and she's shown us pictures of it. And every monitor on her workstation has the digital vision board of her yacht. And what she started doing is going to yacht shows. She lives in Florida, so she drives down to Miami and goes to the yacht shows. She puts herself in the vision, which is bringing her closer and closer and closer to living it. But even if we can't physically put ourselves in the vision, every day we can put ourselves with our vision board into the vision emotionally. We can imagine that. And that's how we draw our vision toward us. Number 6, what would you do for fun? Like I said, I'm an outdoorsy girl. I hiked the Inca Trail with my daughters. I loved every second of it. I came from Florida, 5 feet above sea level, and I was hiking at 14,000 feet, in the cloud forest. It wasn't easy, but I did it. My next hiking trip is going to be the El Camino. Like, what are you doing for fun? That's what I do for fun. I was snowboarding the other day. I love to surf. I love to do yoga. I loved having the retreat and having all these people come to my retreat in Costa Rica and go to the hot springs and hang out with people who I now consider my family, right? So what do you do for fun? I have some people who love to dance, some who love to do art. I have an entire group of people in my coaching program who created a writers group, and they get together and write. So what is that for you? And number 7, what do I love to do, or where do I find the most joy? So, one thing I know about myself, because I'm true to who I am, my authentic self, is I love being in nature. So what is that for you? Like I said, I have some clients who couldn't even imagine that. Like, they love to shop. They couldn't live out in the middle of nowhere, Costa Rica. They like being close to the malls. Do you love boating? Like, this one gal just loves boating life. Do you love horses? Do you love animals? We're not going to do number 8 because basically the question came on twice. Who do I look up to and why? But I want you to look over and think about the exercise that I just walked you through, where you were visioning your ideal life. And I would love for someone, or maybe a couple of you, to come on and share maybe what came to you as I was talking, or what you might have discovered from my ideal life exercise. We have 57 people on here, so I know we have somebody who's open to sharing. And it's all right, Venice, if you want to come on again, you can. Or Margaret, or Tammy, or Timothy.
Yeah, I don't mind. I just didn't want to take other people's time.
I can't see, so I'd like to unmute. Oh, there you are. Okay, great. There you are.
Hi, here I am. One thing, I've actually taken a behavioral assessment recently, and one of the things that I learned is I'm low, not bad, but low in creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very difficult for me to come up with these things. When someone says, create a vision board or whatever, I don't really am able to pull up stuff. I can look at other people's stuff and I'm like, yeah, I like that, but nah. So I really appreciate as you're going through and giving examples, because when you were saying it, I started to feel a little hot going, I can't think of a thing. I don't know. I could think of all kinds of stuff for work, but personal and enjoyment and pleasure, like that's harder for me. So having you walk through it, and we were actually going to set another call to do that.
Yes.
So having you walk through it, just giving examples, I was like, oh yeah, I would like more shoes. Oh yeah, I would like to, be able to do dancing. Oh yeah, I would love to go to the hot springs, and so it I tend to be more on the realistic of, well, I don't know if I could ever do that. So as you're pulling me into imagining it, I really appreciate that, because I could do it for others, but for myself, so I was able to appreciate a lot more and kind of step into it with your examples. So thank you for that.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, and that's what the vision call, what Tammy's talking about is she and I have been planning. She's going back through the Dream Builder program for a second time because, like it's an amazing program, isn't it, Tammy? But we really start to pull out that dream, but sometimes we have things that are holding us back. Sometimes we have areas of our life that need to be healed. And working through that, then it opens up there again. Like I said, when we do the forgiveness work, when we get over our fears and our doubts and our indecisions, it opens up creative space in our mind and we can start to see more possibility. So yeah, if you do want more shoes, if you want a really awesome wardrobe, I mean, why not? Why not you? Why shouldn't you have that awesome wardrobe? If you want that beautiful house on the beach, why not you? If you want to go on that 3-month vacation or 1-month vacation, if maybe 3 months stresses you out too much to think about it, what would a 1-month vacation look like? And where would that be? Would that be there again, sailing around the Greek Isles? Would it be joining Krista on her $3 million yacht? Or would that be a wellness retreat where you're getting, sorry, I'm having some hair issues today. Would it be like a wellness retreat where you're getting massages and hanging out at hot springs and, making friends at a really deep level? What does that look like for you? So thank you so much, Tammy, for sharing that. Anybody else have anything you'd like to share from that exercise?
Me.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in general, I did have experience going through these kinds of questions before, but then when you walk us through this, it's just that I felt that that feeling of being limitless, like just being open of the possibilities that could happen in my life, like the word impossible is just non-existent anymore. So that's what I like about this, and it opened up a world of just possibilities. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes, take the word impossible out. All you do is remove the I am, right? And then you're left with possible. I am possible. I am possibility. Oh, yes, we have, is it Claudia? Thank you so much for sharing.
It's Claude.
Claude. Okay, cool.
Yes. Hi, a pleasant day to everyone. So I would like to share my realization when it comes to my ideal life and what would the things that I love about, because um I realized that we're so busy with our life, with pursuing our career, learning and developing ourselves, continuous education, and we forgot sometimes to check on ourselves. Like we forgot to assess ourselves if am I okay? What are the things that I like? Because we're so busy we're so busy of other things that we forgot to check ourselves and um be comfortable with ourselves and have like self assessment from time to time on what would be the best what would be the best thing to do when it comes to this problem, how can I resolve this kind of problem, what are the resolution of the problem, instead of us or mostly humans have a tendency to run away from the problem. So yeah, I just realized to check on myself from time to time.
Oh, I
Thank
love
you.
that. Thank you. Where are you coming in from, Claude?
I'm from Philippines as well.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. And thank
Thank
you for
you.
sharing that. It is so important to just stop and take a self-assessment, right? Like, what would I love? Like you said, we're so busy trying to get to the next goal, trying to get to the next place, trying to create whatever it is. And we stop to really just be in the moment and recognize how far we've come and where do we want to go, right? So yes, thank you. And then Darwin.
Hi everyone. Okay, so maybe first of all, I'd like to thank you so much
Oh, you're
for
welcome.
this workshop. I'm having a lot of aha moments even before the hour. Like I'm already realizing a lot of things. I'm getting overwhelmed now, and I'm also trying to get out of my comfort zone speaking.
Oh, thank you for
I'm
doing
my
that.
heart is beating so fast right now, but one thing I would say is that I kind of relate to what Tammy said earlier, because when I was looking at the questions you were asking us, I kind of felt pressured. Like, do I have to really give an answer? Because I couldn't think of any. Though I have some answers to some questions,
Mhm,
but then, like, how about number one? And how about like, I'm having like unclear thoughts. That
mhm,
is this what I really want? So it's like, do I really need to answer everything? And then suddenly it goes back to the first step that you told us,
mhm,
being self-aware.
mhm,
So it's like all this time, yeah, I haven't thought of things like this. I
mhm,
was just like, of course, going with the flow of life. Okay, like I'm doing fine, but I have never thought of of these extra things. And
mhm,
then, but then at the end of the day, yeah, it's fine. Like I'm discovering and I'm learning. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a good step for me because yeah, I'm also, by the way, a student of Miss Girly.
oh,
I'm
no.
from the Philippines. So
Okay.
it's like this is a nice step for me to, I guess, upskill.
Mhm.
It's like a door has opened. Okay, so like, okay, on to the next chapter. So yeah, so things are like entering my mind now. So thank you so much.
I want to thank you for bringing that up. So I love what you said, how you felt the pressure. Do I really need to answer this, right? And keep in mind, you're answering it for you. You're not answering it for me, right? You're answering it so that you can step into the next phase of your life. And you're young. There's going to be many next phases of your life. Like I said, I started a whole new career at the age of 56. And I stepped into that next phase. And guess what? There's always going to be a next phase. When I'm 76, there's going to be a next phase that I'm stepping into. And so this is not a one and done. We're just going to look at it today. Like, I really want you to step into your life and you get to own every phase of it. And really, like, what also has happened in our lives is we come to this earth and we're this cute little bundle of joy, but we're like an empty computer with no programs. And then guess what? Our parents, our teachers, our friends, everybody starts programming us with expectations. Are they really ours? Is it really our dream or is it somebody else's dream, right? And your vision board is for you. That's for you to dream and you to step into the next level of your life. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for bringing that up and for being brave and coming on camera. It's such a huge step. I know, trust me, I know. First time I stood up and talked in front of people, I thought I was going to pass out. So, and so the exercise that we did, breathing out through our mouth, that resets our nervous system and slows our heart rate down. So that's something you can do anytime you're feeling like you're going to, like your heart is racing or you're feeling nervous. Just, and most people won't even see it. Just, got this. Okay. And that's how you can step into those things that are scary, because oftentimes it's just excitement. So thank you. So we are going to move on to the gap. And there again, the gap is, where are we today? Afraid to answer the question. Maybe it's impossible, or was up until 5 minutes ago. Maybe it's, I'm not good enough. So this gap from where we are to the dreams that we just started creating. So those last 2 pages are your ideal life. How do I become the person that owns that car? How do I become the person that has a house on the beach, or, that expensive wardrobe and those beautiful shoes. So again, remember on page 7, the how is not our business. You only need to know what you want. And so, number 1, how much would I have to earn to eliminate my financial concerns? So most of us have financial concerns in our life. There's bills, there's rent or a house payment, there's whatever it might be. How much do you need to earn just to eliminate those concerns? And for Venice, that might include college, right? University and the move. So that's one question. Then the second question, how much would I need to earn to live my best life? So how much is that Ferrari? How much is that house on the beach? How much is it to go traveling through Greece or Thailand or Bali or wherever it is that you dream of going? What if you're one of those people who's picturing the wardrobe, what does that look like? And about how much would that be? Would that be a $10,000 wardrobe? Would that be a $20,000 wardrobe? It's all right. This is your dream. This is your dream. And there is no wrong answer to it. And abundance is equally present everywhere at all times to every human. Most of us don't know how to tap into it. So we're learning how to tap into that abundance. And so I really want you to think big. How much would you need to earn? Maybe on a yearly basis, maybe on a monthly basis, to make that life that you're envisioning happen. And what we're doing is we're just getting into clarity, because the universe, your vision board, the law of attraction works on specifics. Like the universe doesn't know, well, I need to make a lot of money. Well, what is a lot of money? For one person, that might be $100. And for another person, that could be $100,000. I'm just using US just because I know US. I know in other countries, $100,000 might not be as much, or 100,000 pesos, or like I'm in Costa Rica, 100,000 colones is really, it's like $100, I think, 100 US dollars. So what does that look like for you? And then number 3, what experiences, emotions, and things do I want to attract into my life? So when I'm talking about experiences, I'm talking about, we've already talked about vacations, or, things that you might want to do, dancing or writing or whatever it might be. But I'm really talking more about the emotional aspect of it. Like if the experience is there again, me hiking the El Camino with my daughters. Now, I could hike the El Camino by myself, and it would be a very different experience than hiking it with my twin daughters who are 24 years old. The emotions that we would experience doing this together. I could have went and snowboarded down the mountainside here in Colorado the other day by myself, but it was so much more fun with my girls, right? I could have went to this retreat center. It's also a hotel by myself or with a friend, but it was so much more fun and so much more rewarding and exciting doing it with a group of my clients who came to Costa Rica to spend that time to heal and to learn and to grow and to become a community together. And then number 4, do I need support, training, or a community to help me navigate the gap? And we all need support. Now, that could look like coaching, but that could also look like creating your own support group, right? Like, who are you spending your time with? Are you spending your time with people who are helping you to create your dream life? Or like me, when I was going through that dark period of my life, are you spending your time with people who are keeping you exactly where you're at right now? The same old conversations, day after day after day, right? And what does that look like? There again, is it friends? Is it different trainings? You know, Venice wants to go to university. She knows that she needs the support of the university, but what support does she need to create? To create the income to get to university. You know, what support does she need from maybe friends and family? Maybe from programs like this, maybe from books or YouTube videos. I mean, guys, some of you are young enough that you haven't really lived without YouTube, but there are many of us, we didn't even know it wasn't even a thing, right? There's so much we can learn from YouTube. You know, there's so much available, so many free resources. Any questions when it comes to the gap or any insights? Anybody want to share?
This is something I think is important, since you guys are younger. I don't know if you have the same mindset I did, but when I was younger, I could do it all myself. Yes, I would ask for help from teachers and I would ask for help from bosses and mentors and things like that. But when I started my own company, everything was too expensive and I had to learn it myself. But I would spend money here and I would spend money there and a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit here and a little bit there, on those things and those learnings. But if I look back now and I put it all together, I spent a lot of effing money. And so if you keep that in mind and instead you put the money into more value, instead of thinking you have to do it all yourself with this little course and that little course and this little training and that, it'll really help you so much faster than waiting. And also, some of you are already doing it, but learning how to have your voice and getting into sales, I resisted that like the plague. And it took me many years to realize there wasn't anything wrong with me. I just didn't have the tools that I needed. And that was it. So get those tools and don't believe you have to do it all yourself.
Thank you for bringing that up, Tammy. And I love that you brought up like the, you know, the marketing part of it. You know, like there's so many, especially for those of you that are might be becoming entrepreneurs or stepping into a new phase of whatever that is. You know, like we pay money to go to university, right? Why wouldn't we pay money to better ourselves in whatever area that might be? And many times, you know, it has to be in the personal development arena first, because if we don't get this straight, we can't get anything else straight out there, right? And that's where really, like you said, it's so much better just to get a focus and go toward that focus with intention. So we always talk about in the program where our attention goes is what we're telling the universe is our intention. So if my attention is on the lack of money, I'm telling the universe that I never have money. I never have enough money to do the things I want to do. Now, on the flip side of that, if I tell the universe my attention I'm putting my attention on how do I create going to London and, getting the money to go to university and living the best years of my life, or traveling. If I put my attention on that, I'm telling the universe, this is what I intend to do. And the universe aligns. So thank you, Tammy. That was a very, very good point that you made. And trying to piece it together doesn't work that well. We live in an information age, and the information can be overwhelming when really what we've discovered in our program is oftentimes getting silent and listening to your intuition. It's so easy to talk about, but getting silent is not the easiest thing to do, is it, Tammy? We got a lot of voices in our, and that's what she helps people do with hypnotherapy, is quiet those voices. So yeah, thank you very much. So this next page, page 8, is 7 levels deep. And if I could have one volunteer, this would be good. We're running a little short on time, but I think we can still squeeze this in. But what I want to do is, if you have a big goal that you want to reach, or even a medium-sized goal, if you're willing to be very vulnerable on screen, we can go 7 levels deep into why do you want that? Because oftentimes you're going to be very surprised it's not what you first think it is. And it's your opportunity to get free coaching. So who would like to go 7 levels deep? All right. Venice had her hand up. Oh, and okay. So also Timothy had his hand up, so we can do 2 of them. So go ahead, Venice. I think you're on.
Hi. Okay.
So what is your one goal? Or one of the goals?
So just can it be the goal that I want to achieve next year?
Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah.
Okay, so the goal that I want to achieve would be to study in either London or Paris.
Okay.
I've already checked the school that I want to enroll in, and I inquired already.
Okay.
And I know the price of the tuition and the living expenses.
Okay.
So I have the
You have a pretty good idea of what it looks like. Okay, so why is it important to you to go to the school in London or Paris?
It's important for me because it would help me advance in my career, and to have that confidence to really apply to the companies that I want to work at and learn from. At the same time, I do want to apply it on my own business.
Okay, so one reason why it's important is to advance in your career and to have the confidence to apply to some of the jobs or careers that you would like to work in, or to apply it to your own business. And why is it important to you to have that confidence?
Because right now, I've tried applying to different companies and I got rejected multiple times. And I think that by going through masters and getting that advantage, I could be more suited for that job.
Okay, so why is it important that you don't get rejected again?
Why is it important that I don't get rejected again? The truth is, I'm just comparing it. Like in sales, I get rejected, and that's okay because I can go through numbers to get the result that I want. But in the realm of getting a job, it's it's really tiring to be rejected, and it's what do you call this? It's discouraging.
Okay, so it's tiring and discouraging. And why is it important that you don't feel that feeling of being discouraged, being tired? Why is it important that you don't feel like that in your life?
Uh it's important because the recovery time from getting away from that emotion of being discouraged takes time, and that time could be used for getting that applications in and finding a new job or finding other opportunities. When I'm in a place of being discouraged, that affects the time that I can put into good use into looking to other opportunities.
So when you're rejected, it makes you feel tired, it makes you feel discouraged. It takes a lot of time to recover from that.
Mhm,
And that's time that you could be doing something more useful. But
mhm.
really behind all of that, when you get rejected and it sends you into this discouragement, how does that make you feel? Does it bring up sadness? Does it bring up hurt? Does it bring up anything from the past?
It does.
Mhm.
It reminds me of when I was struggling when I was in my early 20s,
Mhm.
where I am still looking at where I'm headed to. Like, do I still continue to do sales, or should I just study again? Or should I maybe go abroad and get a job? So it reminds me of the place where I'm in a crossroads where I don't know where I should go to.
So you start to question yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. And is there a lot of hurt involved when you're questioning yourself like that? Like maybe indecision or self doubt?
I do. I do feel self doubt, and I feel like I'm not enough.
And why is it important to feel like you're enough?
It's important for me to feel enough because for the longest time, this one scenario that happened to me before, when a mentor of mine, an ex-mentor of mine, belittled me and told me that I was just this, that I don't have the results yet, that I'm nothing yet. He made me feel like I'm nothing compared to what he accomplished already.
I know it's a little deep. It's okay. And oftentimes tears come during this, but you
Yeah.
don't feel love when you feel like that, do you?
Yeah, because from that time on that I experienced that feeling or emotion that I was not enough, or uh, I'm not where I want to be. every time that I would feel lazy or I would feel um, not in the mood to work, I would remember his words and I would instantly get up and be hard on myself. And I mean, in a way, it did help me push myself to achieve some of my goals, but it it spiraled down for me to have anxiety and depression.
Oh. So see how I just went deep with you, right? What you thought was important was studying in London and Paris. But what really is going on here is you've been belittled, made not to feel good enough in your life. And by going to London, by going to Paris, by becoming the person who's living this dream, you know that you're going to feel good enough. You know that you're going to have overcome what this person said to you. And for many of us, it's more than one person. You know, for some of us, it comes from childhood, right? But what happens is we get in this self-perpetuating loop of staying stuck because guess what? As a child, when we were hurt, we created this neuro pathway there again. And it's comfortable and it sucks at the same time. It's like we know it and it's always trying to pull us back, just like if you have a thermostat in your home and it always is trying to readjust to the temperature, we're always readjusting to that. But when we can recognize that really, when I get this degree, I'm going to finally feel like I'm enough. I'm going to feel like I'm worthy. I'm going to know that I am smart and that I can do this. And really, like, you're just going to feel so good about yourself, right? And isn't that important at the end of the day? And you might discover that maybe it isn't necessarily going to London or Paris. But you get to discover yourself on that path, that you are good enough, that you are the girl that can go to London or Paris, because right now that might be the one thing that's holding you back. He told you you're not good enough. And so in your back of your mind, you're going, well, who am I to do this? Who am I to have this dream? And so, yeah, thank you so much for being vulnerable and for being willing to really look deep into this, because that one thing, just getting through that I'm not good enough, that this person, they planted a seed in your mind and it's been allowed to grow with no supervision. So
Thank you
yes,
so much.
you're welcome. Thank you for coming on. And like I said, thank you for being vulnerable, because this is a really good exercise to do with a friend who's going to dig deeper, because we'll never go to those deep emotions by ourselves. It's like I never go into the deep yoga pose by myself, right? I have to have, when I'm with an instructor, I'll do it, right? I have to prove myself in front of the instructor, but by myself, I'm like, oh no, that hurts. I'm not doing that. So, so yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mindy.
You're welcome. And Jonellen, I apologize if I'm butchering your name. I'm going to unmute you.
Yeah.
How do I say your
Hello, Coach Mindy. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. Okay. Anyway, my why is, anyway, my situation is different from Miss, yeah, the prior what
Then
sharer a while ago. Yeah. So mine is a little bit confusion that caused me anxiety actually.
Hmm.
um, it it is all about my what we call, oh my god, I am also introvert. It is my first time to talk virtually, but I used to talk actually face to face because I am a public teacher here in the Philippines
Okay.
for 10 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, because I am devoted to actually to my yeah, my profession. But right now, I have to choose my career, and it caused me anxiety.
Mhm.
Yes, it's because what's on my mind is to choose if I let go, or if I let I what we call that one, I if I surrender my passion in
Mm.
teaching, and then I will choose another career, which is, yeah, that is why, that's the reason why I am right now yeah, within this workshop
Uh-huh.
as a virtual assistant. Yeah, I am a student of Coach Girly.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so I did my decision to shift, not actually fully shift to another career. I am just starting. So it's because I did this with the for the what we call that one, financial. Yeah, we really need I really, my family, as a married, yeah, a
Mhm.
person, we already had our vision, our what we call that one, goals. You
Yes.
are, yeah, it's real, it is really changing. Like for example, your goal when you were a single, and then the goal that you are already married, am I right? So actually, I am an adventurous woman, and when I get married, yeah, it changed a lot. there there's really a big difference. So um so that is why I have this problem. So you have here the 7 levels deep. What your why must be bigger than you desire to stay where you are actually. My passion in teaching. So that's a big question in my mind. Do I have to surrender and then choose another career for my family's uh, future? So that's yeah, a really big, can cause confusion. I cannot decide it right now.
Well, and that's where having a call with one of the success advisors, and we can go 7 levels deep with you and really discover this. But you don't always have to throw your old career out with your new career. Sometimes there's a time period where you're doing both, where you're doing what I call the dance, right? You're like,
Yes.
I see this life over here that I want, and there's so much more that this can bring to me. But right now, this is where I'm getting paid. And so, and then really creating that new life. What does that look like? Now, if you love
Mm,
teaching, you really truly love what you do, maybe there's a way that you could make more money at that, that you just can't see right now. And, so there's so many different ways, and only you can answer that question. No one can answer that for you.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I highly recommend. So let's make sure that you get a call scheduled so that we can go 7 levels deep. And you're an adventurous woman. That didn't
Yeah.
change when you got married. What changed was your context. So your perception of what marriage should look like as compared to adventurous single woman should look like. So what if you could have it all? What if you could be an adventurous married woman? What if you and your family, like me and my family, I'm a single mom, but my daughters and I,
Mm, yeah.
they traveled to Thailand when they were 16 years old from the United States. It's a 32-hour plane ride. We
Mm,
hiked the Inca Trail. We used to come to Colorado. We've been on cruise boats going to different places, Mexico, like we've done all these things as a family. So you get to create that life you would love. not in what society tells us it should look like.
Yeah.
That's where the freedom is. And I know some societies can tell us more than others what our life should look like, right? But we,
Exactly.
yeah, we get to choose. Not our parents, not our aunts and uncles, not, our spouses. We get to choose. And what happens is when we step into our authentic self, everyone else comes along because we become what I call the lighthouse. We're shining our light on the world, and we're almost like a moth to a flame, right? The moth is going to come to the candle flame. They come to
Mhm.
us. They're like, well, I want some of that.
Yeah.
Freedom, look at the happiness. And the anxiety, when you feel anxiety, and I'm so proud of you for coming on camera, being,
Yeah. Yeah,
I get it.
exactly.
Yeah, I get it. I used to put people in my car one-to-one all the time and take them to show them property, but being on camera was like hugely uncomfortable for me. But
Mhm.
but that's the first part of stepping into our new life. We get to step into who we really are. And trust me when I tell you, the universe will align when you do that. But the anxiety is something that you're creating within yourself. And remember,
Yeah, exactly.
exercise. There's something about that that just slows everything down, right?
Yeah.
And we can do it in any situation. So, and also our language. Our world lives in our words. So instead of saying, I suffer from anxiety, up until yesterday, I used to suffer from anxiety. See how
Mm-hmm.
different that is? We're owning not the anxiety anymore, because when you say I suffer from anxiety, you're owning anxiety. But you say up until
Yeah.
yesterday, I suffered from anxiety. Now you're owning freedom from it. So does
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Coach Mandy.
you're welcome. And thank you so much for coming on. And I love your t-shirt, tribal clip. That's kind of
Yeah.
such a
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So we are running a little bit over right now. We're 4 minutes over, and I know some of you will have to go, but please know that the replay will be available. If you can stay on just a couple extra minutes here, we'll get through the next phases pretty quickly. Page 9 is the gap. Now, I don't want you to do this right now because I really want you to go back through all of this and really focus on the questions at a little deeper level. And yes, Darwin, answer all of them. It's for you, not for us, right? So we're going to answer all the questions. We're going to go a little deeper. You might even want to have your vision call so that you can even get to a deeper level. So what are my 3 top short-term goals? What are my 2 top long-term goals? And so, the short-term goals are 3 months to a year. So maybe, you might want to, I think it's pronounced Janellen. I'm not positive. I apologize. Um, but maybe your top 3-month goal is to really make a decision in what direction you want to take your career. That's just a small step, but making a decision is big, right? And so, what would that look like on your vision board? Confident woman sitting at a desk, right? And then an affirmation beside that that says, I am so happy and grateful to be in this career that I absolutely love. Or I am so grateful to be an adventurous married woman. So we want to keep our vision boards clean. That's why we keep it down to 5. I mean, maybe you could put 6 things on there, but really try and keep it down to 5 or 6 goals at the most. 3 short term, 2 long term. And the reason is a cluttered vision board creates a cluttered mind. A cluttered mind creates chaos. And what are you going to attract to you if you have a chaotic mind? Chaotic results. So you don't want chaotic results. You want clarity. What action steps can I take right now to move toward my dream? Well, maybe one of those action steps is literally joining the Facebook page where you can be with a like-minded community. Maybe it's scheduling your vision call, right? Maybe like Venice, she had done all the work. She knows where the schools are. She knows what she wants to do, right? Like, so maybe the next step is, well, how can I make the extra money? What can I do? What can I do to make this move? And then you find a picture, whether you Google it or find it in a magazine. I'm big on digital vision boards. I have them on my phone, I have it on my tablet, I have it on my computer, but I also have a vision board that I can look at. And that's why I love Googling the pictures, because we can truly choose the pictures that really resonate with us instead of just what we find in the magazine. But and then start putting an action step into place every single day. Because there again, we take the dream off of the shelf and we put our dream out here where we keep it front and center every single day so that it doesn't die on the shelf, a lonely, lost goal or dream, right? And then number 4, do I need clarity or support to create my ideal life? And that's where this vision board can come in. And that's where truly like some sort of coaching, like this 12-week Dream Builder Boot Camp can come into place for you. So once you've decided these things, what I want you to do is go to page 10 and decide for a life that you love. Like make the decision that no matter what happens in my life, these 3 goals are going to happen. Like if you decide with that kind of clarity, the universe will bring it to you. And at the top, you write your name. I, Mindy Lishman, am committed to powerfully creating a life I love in 2023. And I am committed to achieving my top 3 goals. And then you write your affirmations out. And you want to sign your name to. So write your top 3 goals and create affirmations. Your affirmations have to be in the present tense as if they've already happened. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have this beautiful home on the beach. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm going to school in Paris. I am so happy and grateful now that, I am traveling the world, or whatever that might be. And then you can see we have a couple pages for journaling, or you might want to do this in a notebook and really journal on everything that you've discovered about yourself and about your dreams today. And then last of all, if you scroll to page 13, there's some really good information on creating your vision board here. And there again, if you become active in the Facebook page, and put your vision boards in the Facebook page, we can help you. And if you have questions on how to create a vision board, it's going to be much more fun if you do it with a friend or a few friends. It just really is. Like you'll get ideas from their boards, they'll get ideas from your boards. And it's much more fun if you share it. And trust me when I tell you, when you speak your vision and your dream out loud, there's more opportunity for it to come to you. So we're really just, the more we talk about it, the more we bring it to life, right? We take it off the shelf and we make it alive, a living, breathing thing. The more opportunity has to come to us. We want to keep our vision board close to us where every morning and every night we spend at least 5 minutes looking at the pictures and really imagining ourselves in it. Imagine yourself if you're at that place at the beach, or if you're sailing around, the Greek Isles where you're on the boat and you can feel the wind and you can feel the sun on your skin. You can smell the salt air. You really want to be in it. So there again, join the Facebook group, schedule your call, and make sure that you put your vision boards on the Facebook page so that you can have an opportunity to win the prizes. And then as we wrap up, I just want to share the Dream Builder 12-week boot camp with you. So it's a proven 90-day process for transformation. And again, it is a 12-week boot camp. We go from defining and designing our dream life to testing our dream to really getting through all the fear, doubt, indecision, I'm not good enough, because we change our perception. We change who we're being out in the world. So for instance, rather than being shy on camera, you're going to discover, you know what? Like, I know that when I'm sharing the knowledge that I've gained over my lifetime, when I share this 12-week boot camp, I'm watching lives transform in front of me. So we bring that to life so that it's not there again, dying on the shelf behind you, to the point where we're harvesting our dream, where we're really truly stepping into it. Like I said, my one client is this close to her $3 million yacht. And, I would not be surprised if she has it by the end of the year. And not only is she looking at it as, I want a $3 million yacht, she's looking at it as, how can I make money? How can I take this thing that would normally be a decreasing, not an asset, but something that's decreasing in value, right? To something that's creating an income and money for me. And so we take our blinders off and we start to look at the world in a different way. Like, Venice, going to Paris, not only how can I go to school there, but how can I make money while I'm going to school there? How can I live my best life? How can I have really exciting, cool friends and, have experiences while I'm there? So harvesting our dream. And what the program looks like is, this program was developed by my mentor, Mary Morrissey. She's 75 now. She's been in this work for around 40 years. I'm not going to lie, it is brilliant. I could not have created this program on my own. I suffer from a little ADD, so for me to hold a thought long enough to create a program would not have happened. But I am certified to teach this program. And so we have daily lesson plans for 12 weeks, from creating our dream life right to the day of harvesting that. And it goes through forgiveness and all those things that we might not know how to do the deep, deep work on by ourselves. We have daily audio lessons and meditations, there again by Mary Morrissey. So when I say daily, the more we listen to it, so there's one audio per week, but the more you listen to it, the more information you get out of it. And you'll hear new things that you didn't hear the day before. If you listen to this recording over the next 7 days that you have this, you are going to hear things that you didn't hear the first time that you listen to this. We have weekly coaching calls with me. I coach my clients live once a week in small groups. Each Dream Builder group starts at a new date every month. And so the next group starts on the 25th of this month. It's a Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. So wherever you are in the world. And we meet once a week, actually, for 13 weeks. And it's very interactive, just like this workshop has been. It's not just me talking at you, because the true learning happens when we're sharing, when we're going back and forth, right? And then we have what I call our morning study calls. This is 7 days a week. So for some of you, it's not going to be morning, it might be midday. If many of you in one area of the world decide to get together, we can create study calls in your area of the world. But right now we have them in 3 different time zones. And what we do is we spend 30 minutes studying, because most people don't give themselves that 30 minutes of personal development every day. This is what our world has come down to. We don't even give ourselves 30 minutes. So imagine what focusing on you growing you could do for you after 12 weeks. And then we spend 30 minutes in deep discussions like what we've had here today about those moments, those aha moments, those our wins. Like Tammy came on and shared, look, my wheel is looking pretty smooth now, right? That's a huge win. It's no longer looking like this pointed star, right? The conversations are gold, and like I said, they're 7 days a week, but they're also not required. It's just something, it's an option. If you can get on, great. But they are amazing, and you get to meet everyone that you're coaching with. So you really get to be in the community. We also have weekly hot seat and Q&A coaching, and that's just like what I did with Venice, where I coach you directly. And what's amazing is when we do these sessions, so many people will have a breakthrough from you having a breakthrough. So Venice coming on and being willing to be vulnerable probably helped many of you have a breakthrough in some area in your life where you realize, oh, that's happened to me, right? And then, of course, we have accountability partners where you have a one-on-one partner who's going to hold your dream up here, even when you're like, I give up, and they're going to be like, oh no, I got you. I've got your back. So the accountability partner is huge. And then we have private Facebook page and private messenger chats where our clients are going back and forth, talking to one another. And last of all, you get a community of dream builders who are going to hold you. Like they're going to hold you in their arms, even if it's from, a few thousand miles away, and they're not going to let you forget that you have a dream and you're bigger than your fears, you're bigger than your doubts, and you're bigger than your indecision, right? So in fact, we just did that this morning with one of the ladies who has a big dream. She kind of went into a corner for, I'd say, almost a month, but we could all see that she was hiding out, and she was hiding from herself, and she was hiding from her dream. And guess what? Your gift to the world is going to touch someone's life, maybe many someone's. So we won't allow you to hang out and hide for very long. So with that said, I want to thank you all for joining the workshop today, and thank you for staying over. We ran over by about 20 minutes. But I really appreciate all of you who came on live, all of you who are watching the recording of this, because we have many people who registered who couldn't make it on today. And I want to really acknowledge the work that you're putting into yourself, because this is the most important work you will ever do. If we can't get this straight, we will never live a life of true freedom, true joy, a life where we're really sharing our gifts with the world. So thank you all, and go have a beautiful Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. What time is it in the Philippines, by the way? If it's 1:30 here, so it must be like 2 in the morning.
3:20 a.m.
Oh my goodness. You guys are looking at somebody who goes to bed about 9 o'clock. Okay, so thank you all for being here, and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye, my friends. And make sure to schedule your calls.